Hey guys, so I'm actually in the middle of making my I call them soft sculptured pumpkins because they are, soft and you can sculpt them. The red on this right now, the way it's coming up on the camera, it's like coming up a lot brighter than what it is in person. But anyway, my Dolly friend on Insta, Ray7, he wanted to know like a tutorial or something of how to make these. Excuse me, they're very simple. Basically, they're made from pantyhose. I have these knee-high in nude. I also have some in black because I'm planning another project with these. So what you need to do basically, you take 4 of these. You can also recycle like old pantyhose and cut them. So you're gonna need 4, and then I have a picture on my Insta of how they're laid out. But you're basically gonna lay it out like a spoke on a wheel. So you're gonna have like 1, 2, 3, 4. You lay them out flat, check the bottom, and make sure everything is nice and neat and flat, and as because you're gonna have to pull on them to spread them out. So just make sure that they are stretched out as much as possible, because the middle part you're gonna need to take a stapler. At least that's what I use, because it's easier. And you're gonna take the stapler when they're, pretend like this is flat and not stuff. And then you're gonna take the stapler and you're gonna put it underneath the middle part of all the layers of the pantyhose, and you're gonna staple. Go around to the other side, staple. You'll flip it over and check how the staples are coming out. If you have to pull a little, pull. But you have to be very careful, because since this is nylon, if you pull a little too hard, like on the nylon, you might get runs and stuff. But there's a way to fix that. I'll tell you in a minute, there's a way to fix that. So after you have it stapled in the middle and everything is put, held together, you want to cut off the feet part so you have openings. I usually trim off also like this part right here, the band, because it tends to be really thick. Just makes it easier to stretch them. So then you're gonna take stuffing, the polyfill. You can take an old pillow and take the stuffing out of an old pillow. You don't have to like buy a bag of polyfill. But I have a humongous box over there of it. So I just have some in here to make it easier to work with. And then you're gonna take this and you're gonna bunch up 8 balls. Try to make them as even as possible. That all 8 are as even as possible. Then you're gonna take those, stretch open one of the pantyhose sides, stuff the stuffing in, and do it to all 8 sides. Once you have that, then you have to start lifting them up. So you're gonna grab the cut ends, the ends that are open, that's here, and you're gonna pull them up, and you're gonna hold them with one hand as you're sculpting your pumpkin. I'll try and do like a tutorial the next time I make one, but for now I figured explanation. So you pick them all up, you fix these, because you're gonna have to like pull them out a little bit, because some of them will be stuck in. Don't worry about them too much being like perfect, because there are no such thing as perfect pumpkins. I've never seen like a perfectly shaped pumpkin. And these are more in like the gourd family. I've seen pumpkins in all different colors. If you look on Google, you'll find them in different shades of green, even blues, reds, yellows. So they're not all just like roundish orange. This one is red, apple red. So once you have, you know, all this pulled out and everything, you have your pantyhose pulled up into your hand, you're going to take a rubber band. You're going to put a rubber band and just keep going and going until it's all held together. And then pull on the pantyhose again. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take those pieces of pantyhose and you're going to braid it to make the stem. I mean, that's how I make my stems. You can actually use a twig or stick or felt if you wanted to. Like, you can roll felt up, make like a log shape, and just stuff it in there with glue or something. I find this to be easier. Plus, I don't have to worry about sticks getting, you know, stuck and snagged onto the nylon and pulling on it. That's another thing. Make sure that you don't have any jagged nails or hard skin or anything that can stick itself onto the nylon and give you snags and stuff. So then you're going to have 8 pieces on the top. I take 3 to one side, 3 to the other, and 2 in the middle. And I just braid, like if I had 3 strands of hair to braid, and I use it like 3 strands, and I braid it basically up until I can't braid anymore, until it's not even anymore. And then you take another rubber band and you're gonna put it on wherever you want. I mean, this is how long I was happy with this length, and I curved it and everything. So you put a rubber band there. Then you're gonna trim off all the excess, and it's gonna look something like that. Right now I have this little mini fan right here helping to dry the paint. So once you have your pumpkin shape, then you can start squishing it and sculpting it and shaping it out. This is what the bottom looks like. See the staples? Now you see this right here? That was a small little run that I got when I was pulling it up. My solution for fixing something like that is using fray tack. So you use the fray tack, put it on all around the edge of your, if you get a hole, that is. Sometimes you might not get a hole, sometimes it might just be a run. So just put the fray tack all around, let it dry really well, fully dry. It will be hard once it dries. Now what I did was, because I had a small hole, I did a couple of stitches and closed it up. And here, let me see if I can, because it's hard there. And you're not going to see the bottom once the pumpkin is done. All of that on the bottom is going to be painted, so it's not really going to show, so it doesn't matter. After you're done with that, fix, you know, if you have runs or whatever, fix them. If you just have a regular run, you might not even need to put fray tack, because the paint, eventually when you put the paint on, it's going to get kind of hard. But it's not going to get like really stiff, because the trick to using acrylic paint on fabric is this. Textile medium. So you mix this with your acrylic paint. It's You can hear it. It's very, very watery. It's not thick like the paint at all. So you're going to mix 2 parts of the cream coat of a cream coat acrylic paint with 1 part of textile medium. So you don't necessarily have to use cream coat acrylic. I've used all types of acrylic with that. So it's 2 parts to 1 part. I'm not really good with measuring parts. Like I eyeball everything. But you know, you're gonna mix it together and then you can start painting. I painted the stem first. And then when I started to paint the pumpkin, I went in here in the base and all through here, and I put a lot. I scooped up and I put a lot. Don't worry. It's too much. You really can't, because this is going to absorb the paint. And as you can see, there's like spaces here and here. There's a couple of areas that are going to need a second coat. But the most important thing when you first start painting them is to take the brush and you're gonna take a big glob of paint and start going like that in between the edges and bring it out, because you really want to get the paint in the edge here, so that way when you start painting the rest, you don't have any empty gaps through there. So I tend to focus on this a lot in the beginning. And then once I got the whole pumpkin painted, first coat, then I'll go over the second coat. And then after that, I'll give it a couple of details if it needs it. Like, you know how some pumpkins have little dots and lines and marks and stuff on them. Then I add leaves. Sometimes I make my own leaves from felt, or sometimes I use the leaves that you buy in the store. These are from the Dollar Tree. I have maple leaves and oak leaves. Right now is the best time to get these because they're putting out all the fall stuff. If you go to a place like Joann's or Michael's or something, it's going to be very expensive. So I recommend getting a bunch of leaves like that or making your own. You can just cut them out of felt. And you're going to take embroidery floss, put it through your leaves, position your leaves on the pumpkin where you want it, wrap it around the bottom a couple of times. Usually I'll wrap it around to hide the rubber band. And then I take it and I go around to the top, wrap it, and go right back down to the bottom, tie it off here somewhere, and it's fine. Usually I'll use the green embroidery floss so it can look like vines type of thing on the stem. You can even hot glue the leaves on if you wanted to in here. It's really up to you. It's really your preference. But basically, that's the gist of it. When I make another one, I'll try and record it. The reason I don't do these tutorial things is because the videos would be tremendously long, and you guys know I don't edit because I really don't know how to, even though I have a sort of editing program on my phone. But anyway, the supplies: pantyhose or knee socks, but they have to be nylon. Acrylic paint, textile medium is very important. This is about, I think it was about $7.99. I got it at Joann's. Hobby Lobby, I believe, sells it too. It might be a little cheaper at Hobby Lobby. I've never seen it at Michael's, but I don't know if they have it there. You can check. And then you're gonna need your stuffing, rubber bands, stapler, leaves if you choose, and then of course your basic supplies like napkins, and this is actually a container for water, so it's portable. You put your brushes in here and take it with you. Different color paints and brushes. Right now I'm working with red. I have some greens and orange and stuff for some other pumpkin colors and black. That's one of the projects I'm going to be working on, of this black pumpkin, this idea I have in my head, making a spider. I have a bunch of supplies here to have the jet black nylons, and then I found these really nice ribbons, Halloween ribbons at Joann's. There's gemstones in here. I did get some of this floral wire just to try it out. I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll see. And then I have all these rhinestones, pom-poms, and teeny tiny eyes. And there are, oh yeah, and then there's the pipe cleaners, also called, what is it, Chanel stems, and these are the 3mm ones. These are the ones that are a little skinnier. So see if I make the spider. The rhinestones and stuff like that, it's like if you want to make a more fancy pumpkin, then you can take the rhinestones and you can glue them on. You can use fabric glue. You can probably use hot glue, just don't use too much. And you decorate it. You can decorate it however you want. You can make them any color you want. It doesn't matter. You get creative. Use your imagination. Anyway, that's it for now for this. Again, I'm sorry it's not like a tutorial. It's just an explanation, but I will try to see if I can get through a tutorial for you guys on these pumpkins soon. Alright, so I'll see you soon. Bye bye.